Hello, folks. I'm back in studio for the first time since March 18th, 2020. This is Greg Gilbert, host of Python's Paradise, in here Sunday night, the 26th of September. And I thought before I go on air, like I'm in the studio now, I'm in one of the studios, and this is my Ted White signed hockey mask. There you go. Signed by Ted White. He was my favorite Jason. And I am just going to remove this here. And as you can see, I'm wearing the 13 Fanboy t-shirt. I'll show it once again here. And my mask fell down here, so I can keep this propped up. Okay, folks. I thought I would take this opportunity, since it's the first time I'm on the air. And how long now? Since March 18th, 2020. And I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about the trailer release for 13 Fanboy. I got involved with 13 Fanboy back, I think I first heard about it in 2018, if I remember correctly. I've interviewed Debbie Sue Voorhees 4 times on Python's Paradise. And she announced that, she hinted. I don't know if she first announced it on my show. I'm not going to take credit for that. But I will say I'm probably one of the early ones. But she announced 13 Fanboy. And I took interest. And of course, she started rattling off a lot of the names that were going to be in it. And the moment she mentioned Tracy Savage, I knew I was hooked. Because, Jason Voorhees might be the star of these movies, but I always went because there was always at least one cute girl in every one of them. And in part 3, Tracy Savage was it. In fact, one of my issues with part 3 is that they had written her character Debbie as pregnant, and they still killed her off, and she was a lot more likable than Chris or Chili or Vera, for that matter. And that's just my personal opinion, but I would have had Debbie be the survivor. A pregnant final girl would have been kind of cool. Would have added an extra layer of tension. As you can see, I'm wearing my sanitizer gloves here in the station. I wasn't asked to, but work, I'm a cleaner. That's what I do for money, so I'm wearing these gloves in here tonight just for extra caution. But nonetheless, I got involved. I was like, okay, Tracy Savage is in this. I'm hooked. And a special shout out to Mike Guttridge, the director of The Bone Garden, who connected me with Tracy Savage. So I've had her on the show twice, and I am set to play her second interview on here tonight in honor of the 13th Fanboy trailer drop that happened just this past Friday. So my picture is also in the movie, and according to editor Riley C. Morris, it gets splattered in blood. And I consider that badge of honor. I was a co-producer. I must have spent, I don't know how much money on this movie. And right now, financially, my savings have taken a hit. So I would insist people wait a very, very long time before hitting me up for these projects, because it's a long time. I do want to get involved in the second 13 Fanboy film if there is one. So, but nonetheless, I know that this is going to be an exaggeration, but I'm this close to being out in the street, so to speak, if you will put it that way. But I'm still working. I work as a cleaner. I'm an essential worker. And that's what I do for money, and I do the podcast because I really enjoy it, But getting back to 13 Fanboy, got involved when she dropped Tracy Savage's name, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to say no to this project, and honored my pictures in the movie. Riley C. Morris says my name is at the beginning and at the end of the movie as a co-producer, so I got that a little extra perk in there when it was on the Indiegogo campaign. Debbie Sue Voorhees, of course, is the director of the film, and early on, she had Tom Matthews and Adrienne King, which is, they both had to pull away. Adrienne King because of a personal situation that drew too close to home. Tom Matthews, I feel bad he had to pull away, because when I went to Horrorama 2019, outside Kane Hodder, Tom Matthews got the most attention on this shirt, even more so than Corey Feldman. So, but nonetheless, Tom Matthews, who played, of course, Tommy Jarvis in Part 6, Jason Lives, which I consider the best of the franchise, that and the final chapter. But he had to pull away. But nonetheless, they do have a lot of great names in this. Of course, I mentioned Debbie Sue Voorhees. I mentioned Tracy Savage. I gotta mention their names. Kane Hodder's in this. Corey Feldman, Judy Aronson, Lar Park Lincoln, or as I like to call her, Lovely Lar. We have C.J. Graham is in this. Ron Sloan and Carol Locatel, Ethel and Jr. with that special kind of slop. Let me see. And I don't want to leave any names out. Let me see. Let's look on the shirt here. How can I forget Dee Wallace? Dee Wallace is in this movie. She's been on my show here, Python's Paradise, back in 2015, and I met her at Horrorama 2018. Lovely woman. Yep, Dee Wallace is in this. So many people. But I want to also take the moment, because I know a lot of times when, like, I wasn't on set for 13 Fanboy. I wasn't there in New Mexico when it was being shot. I could have been. I think that was part of my perk. But when you work as a cleaner, especially during the pandemic as an essential worker, you can't get away. I'm lucky to get a couple vacations a year. I didn't take any last year. And I'm actually going on my first at the end of October, where I'll be promoting 13 Fanboy. But I want to talk about some of the people that don't often get mentioned as much, because I can relate to that. I want to mention people like Jason Bradford, who told wonderful stories on my show about running cast and crew back and forth to and from to the airport. His stories about Jennifer Bonco, who's also in this movie, forgot to mention. The stories about Jennifer Bonco were hysterical, and they're worth listening to the interview alone, you know. I want to mention, of course, Joel Paul Rising, who injured his foot on the set of that movie, stepping on a nail by accident. So I want to mention him. Carrie Yates. Carrie Yates is very special to me, because it was March 18th, 2020, I did my last interview here in the station. I had about 30 people waiting to come on Python's Paradise, and I had no way of doing the interviews. I was still working as a cleaner, but I had no way of doing the interviews. It was Nancy McLaughlin of Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, played Lisbeth. She's a dear friend. And I would recommend Debbie Sue Voorhees. You get Nancy McLaughlin in Part 2 of this. She's awesome. Nancy McLaughlin had said to me, if I can do Zoom, you can do Zoom. Well, I got set up with Zoom. I was supposed to interview a musician, TJ Doyle, who's been on my show now 4 times, out of California. I was supposed to interview him on the 4th of January. And that would have been screwed up had it not been for Carrie Yates, who happens to be located in, is it London? She's in the UK. Anyway, had it not been for her late at night after I made the post announcement on Facebook offering to help me break in Zoom, I would not have gotten broke into Zoom. Carrie Yates was my first interview of 2021. So I want to say, because Carrie Yates is always behind people. And I love it when she says bloody hell, because it sounds very hot Harry Potter. But I got to acknowledge Carrie Yates. I got to acknowledge people like Troy Elke, whose voice is in this film. I discovered Troy Elke just through his theories on Friday the 13th. But boy, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's probably one of the most blown away talented people involved in 13 Fanboy. And it's just his voice. I think Troy Elke, I mean, aside from having this Cousin It look with his beard and whatnot, Troy Elke is one of the most immensely talented people I've ever come across to do an interview with. I mean, keep watch on him. He's amazing. I can't say enough good things about him. He's got a real heart for animals. Another person I want to acknowledge is Christopher Norris. Christopher Norris has a great heart on him. I know he came to Troy Elke's aid when he needed him, and Troy didn't even ask him. That's just who Christopher Norris is. Chris is a great guy, and Chris has been on my show twice, same as Troy Elke, and I love watching those two banter back and forth. Christopher Norris, one thing, I look at him a lot differently, because here's something a lot of people don't know. He doubled for Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That makes Christopher Norris kind of a badass to me, you know? And from what I hear, he's got the most scene-stealing demise in 13 Fanboy. I've heard that from several sources, including right on the show. But I don't know how he gets it, but that's what I heard. Christopher Norris is a wonderful guy to keep an eye out. And I just saw the Eyes of Tammy Faye at the theater last night, which he was supposed to appear in, but I missed him. If he was Troy Elke, I would have caught him, because you can pick Troy Elke out of a crowd faster than Where's Waldo. Some other people I want to bring up, like people that don't necessarily. I just interviewed Neely Heil on here just a couple days ago, and she makes an appearance in the film. I got to talk about some of the backers, even, you know, and I know I'm going to miss people, and I do apologize. But, you know, people like Rob Mahoney and Jimmy Presley, who's done a lot of footwork and sharing this project in and out, you know. I got to mention people like Christy Fontenot, Noelle Berger, Lisa Perez, who are known as the Three Amigos, I guess. I got to mention them. And I can't forget Vincent DeSante and Andrew Leahy. You see, I can't say good things about all the Friday the 13th franchise, and I won't mention any parts. You have to listen to my interviews to know. But I think Never Hike Alone is better than a lot of the franchise. And I certainly hope that Vincent DeSante gets to bring some of his ideas into fruition, because that guy has a vision as to what he wants to do. And I think he's a great guy. I'm honored to have had him on the show twice. Andrew Leahy hasn't been on yet, but apparently, according to sources I've interviewed, he put like googly eyes on his nipples on set, so I'm assuming the 13th Fanboy couldn't kill him fast enough. Oh, I'll have to get him on at some point, but Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, and we do get Tom Matthews in that. I gotta mention Haley Greenbauer, our heroine, or as Jason Bradford calls her, the diva. Not personal, folks. It's all in joke. Haley Greenbauer is our heroine. I've had her on the show once. I've got to have her on again, and I got to acknowledge the Cackle Queen, Deborah Sullivan. And if you've seen Secret Santa, which was directed by her husband Adam Marcus, you'll know why I call her the Cackle Queen. I could mention, I know I'm going to miss some names, and if I missed your name, I apologize. I know there's a lot of people that do these videos, they miss my name. Do I feel left out? Yeah. But I can't take it personally because I wasn't there on set. I wasn't in New Mexico. I had things I had to do here. I'm hoping, I'm actually having my first vacation in 2 years coming up the end of October. I'm going to be leaving Fredericton, New Brunswick here, or as I like to call it, parts unknown, because nobody knows where New Brunswick, Canada is. I'd like to just mention I'm going to be attending my very first Frightmare in the Falls, Niagara Falls, outside Toronto. And I'm going to be leaving here on the 28th of October, and I'll be arriving back November 4th. I'm going to be promoting 13 Fanboy there, just like I did when I attended Horrorama 2019. Horrorama got canceled again this year because when restrictions lifted a little bit, they didn't have time to book people. But Chris Alexander and Ali Chappelle and Louis Serez and the bunch is going to be there at Frightmare, so I will catch up with them. I promoted 13 Fanboy at Horrorama. Blood Opera, the band, did a song called Fanboy, which unfortunately Debbie Sue did not use for 13 Fanboy. I'm saddened by that, but I do know that Sean Clark liked the song. I do know that. Blood Opera I've seen in concert, and they're great guys. Check them out. They're badasses. I've had them on the show twice. And speaking of Sean Clark, I regret to say he was supposed to be in 13 Fanboy. He was supposed to be at the convention scene wearing some cosplaying. I'm under the impression he was going to wear a Barney outfit and he was going to take the head off and reveal it's Sean Clark. Now, I just put that image in your head. Sean Clark in a Barney outfit. I'm sure he'll love me for that. Anyway, I just wanted to come on here and express my appreciation for Debbie Sue Voorhees. I guess my appreciation for Tracy Savage, because had it not been, if it wasn't for her, I don't know whether I've been a co-producer on this. I think Debbie Sue used her to get me to be a co-producer. Anyway, did I forget Corey Feldman is in this movie? Yeah. There's a reason why, you see, Ted White's not in this movie. You see, I don't think the 13th Fan... He might have gotten Kane Hodder, might have gotten C.J. Graham. It wouldn't get Ted White. Ted White used to double for John Wayne. Anybody doubles for John Wayne isn't going down to a 13 Fanboy, or a 14 Fanboy, or a 15 Fanboy for that matter. He just uses John Wayne instead of Fanboy. He'd just call him the 13 Pilgrim. Anyway, folks, I am honored to be part of this film. It's going to be released, of course, October 22nd. And if Debbie Sue Voorhees sees this, I'm hoping, because I seriously doubt we're going to get here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, we can get shit like After We Fall, which should fall, or After We Fell, which should fall right into a trash can. We can't get that, but we can't get 13 Fanboy, but we can get that shit. But I am going to be in Toronto between October 28th and November 4th. I find I'd have the best bet of seeing it in Toronto. Let's get it in Toronto. I want to see this on the big screen. I don't do streaming. That's not out of protest. It's just I'm not set up to do that stuff. My TV, I watch my Blu-rays on. I don't even watch television. So unless it plays in Toronto when I'm there, and I'd love to see it in the big screen, then I probably won't see it till it comes out on Blu-ray. But nonetheless, I don't even know what perks I'm supposed to get from this. I got involved with these, and uh, I haven't gotten involved in a movie for a while because, like I said, financially I've taken a hit. I had to get a new car this year because my old car stalled going down a busy street. I was lucky to get pulled off into a parking lot, and I had to go get a new car. And it was the same day I got my second vaccine. So, and I also had to get a CPAP machine because I went from moderate to extreme sleep apnea. So that's been given warning to me. I'm 49 years old, and like Rodney Dangerfield says, I'm at that age when I walk past a cemetery, two guys run after me with shovels, you know? But I am looking forward to going to Frightmare in the Falls. I am going to see my friend Lisa Langlois from class of 1984. She's become a dear friend, so I'm trying to get her in that event. I've had numerous other guests have wanted me to help get them into events. I'm trying, folks. I'm just not in charge. I can only drop your names, but I'll try. So forgive me, I'm trying. But I'm happy to be part of this film. And I want to say God bless to everybody. And if I missed anybody's name, my apologies go out. I certainly understand if people don't mention my name. I do want to also thank everybody from 13 Fanboy who's done the Doubtfire Face Challenge for suicide and depression awareness, including Ron Sloan and many behind the scenes. And I know there are some of you who haven't done it yet. Take the challenge. It costs less than $5 to get a paper plate and whipped cream. Nominate 3 people and make a difference. And for those who have done it, as somebody who has dealt with depression, I thank you. But I have had a few takers on this. Nancy McLaughlin, Sandy Johnson, theirs were quite creative. Lisa Langlois. In fact, I just recently had wrestler James Ellsworth do it. So there you go. Anyway, God bless every one of you. I'm honored to be a co-producer on this film. I'm looking forward to seeing my picture get splattered in blood, apparently. I'd like to think Tracy Savage survives. Come on, let her survive. Let her live. It's Tracy. Let her live. But I'm honored to be part of this movie, and I haven't been on the set for 13 Fanboy, but judging from all the stories I've been hearing from everybody I've interviewed, I feel like I have been there. And I've heard I'm not going to do it now, but I could just go through everything I've heard go on that movie. So I am delighted. So I'm about to go on the air live here. While I'm playing the Tracy Savage interview from the end of 2019, I'm going to try to send this out to the Debbie Sue Voorhees sheer horror page on Facebook. And yeah. So, 13 Fanboy, folks. October 22nd. Hopefully I'll see it. And again, I'll be at Frightmare in the Falls, October 28th. Actually, the event itself is October 29th and 30th. I'll just be in Toronto October 28th and leaving on the 4th to come back here to Parts Unknown. So I will be promoting 13 Fanboy while I'm there. And I should show this off. The tote bag. The tote bag, ladies and gentlemen.